wanted by wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up! This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14!
Dina, I am the best in the world.
'Cause that's the bottom line! 'Cause Stone Cold Simpson!
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's me, it's that HEAD, back with another installment of the Progress Wrestling Podcast. That's right, Progress Wrestling Podcast presented by the Wrestling Matters Podcast. Yours truly, that's me. Hope you've enjoyed the previous episode, hope you enjoyed last episode as well, and hope you guys checked out on the Progress Wrestling On Demand service that heel turn that was so fucking good. I can't stop watching it, it's so good. I mean, that wouldn't even get over in WWE, for Pete's sake. Anyway, just wanted to say a quick thank you to everybody who supported the Wrestling Matters podcast. It is very much appreciated. Also supported the Wrestling Matters channel as well. I've done a couple of videos on there, and I don't know if one's got over quite well, but the SummerSlam review, I mean, the NXT review at the moment is doing very well. Video, but the SummerSlam and Monday Night Raw 45-minute video that I did, because I wanted to put them both together, is doing great well as well, despite the likes and dislikes, but I'm not bothered about that. I'm all about the views. Everybody has an opinion about wrestling. Everybody has an opinion about professional wrestling, and that's what makes it, that's the beauty of being a wrestling fan, ladies and gentlemen, because everybody has an opinion. Good, bad, agree, disagree, it makes no difference. That's the beauty of being a wrestling fan. That's why we all live in this beautiful bubble we call wrestling, professional wrestling, and that's what makes it sweet. Anyway, moving on to the format of the show, which is Progress Wrestling. This is Chapter 10 I'm going to be reviewing, and oh boy, was this something, let me tell you. Absolutely something. Now, if you thought the previous chapter was something, this took the biscuit for me. It started off with Mikey Whiplash versus Tommy End. Debut Mikey Whiplash in Progress Wrestling, and yes, he faced Tommy End. Great wrestling match to start off with. That's all it was. Just straight mat, fundamental, hold for hold wrestling at its best. And yeah, it was just great mat wrestling. Hold for hold, move for move. Whiplash targeting the arm and the wrist of Tommy End, trying to slow him down in that way. Just great fundamentals to kick off a great show, quite frankly. Mikey Whiplash and Tommy End, you guys may know if you watch ICW, because you may now know them as members of Legion. Tommy End being with the Sumerian Death Squad, and Mikey Whiplash being Mikey Whiplash. And this was the old school version of Mikey Whiplash, before the face paint and the outfits and everything. This was the wrestler Mikey Whiplash, and he still does it to this very day as well, but he likes to wear face paint. And now he's part of a group called Legion, and the Sumerian Death Squad and Mikey Whiplash combined for one common goal now, and that's to take out the NAK. But it was a fundamental wrestling match, and say about 5 minutes before the end, it started getting hard hitting, and Tommy End ended up winning it with the double stomp from the top rope, which gives him his, at this point at least, his second win in Progress, because he made his debut last chapter against Dave Mastiff, and he beat Dave Mastiff. So the only way is up. And as you all know, if you watch Progress Wrestling and you are a Progress Wrestling fan, you know he comes in eventually with the Sumerian Death Squad and tag team and that, and the Sumerian Death Squad take over Progress Wrestling eventually. Mikey, we all know Mikey, you all know who Mikey is, the backbone of ICW, at least one of them at least, and just a fundamental great wrestler who is now a member, like I say, of Legion. And if you're an ICW fan, you know Legion have got a big match coming up against NAK in November 15th at Fear and Loathing. So, at this point, the only way was up for Mikey Whiplash. But great solid match, and I will give it a 4 out of 5. It was a great, solid wrestling match, and not bad for the time they had, to be honest with you, because it was only about, say, 10 minutes at the most. But good stuff nonetheless. Now for the comedy match. Yes, the comedy match. And this match was probably the most funny, entertaining, yet most ridiculous tag team match I have ever seen. There was part wrestling in this match, but it was mainly about the comedy and the entertainment. And that was Project Ego in a serious tag team tournament match to decide who would be the Progress Wrestling Tag Team Champions against Mad Manson and Grado. Mad Manson being his debut. And oh my god, there was parts of this match where you just think, what the fuck am I watching here? Don't get me wrong, it was funny, it was entertaining. If you like this kind of matches, hey, check it out. There was a slow motion sequence in the match between Kirby and Manson where they were doing their move in slow motion, and even the crowd got involved as well. It was just entertainment in a tag team match, and you wouldn't think it was actually a serious tag match considering it was a tag team title tournament match, but it was all good. But the one thing that got me, and even I laughed as well because they actually did it, was they all were on the outside. I believe Manson had Chris Travis in like a German suplex hold on the outside. Then then Kirby grabbed Manson, then Grado grabbed Kirby, and even the referee got involved after the stupid yellow card thing that he showed, but Travis said, here, come here. And they all started, the God's honest truth, they all started doing the Congo. I know your head was do, come on and do the, oh my god. And even the fans got involved, and even Progress Wrestling Jim Smallman got involved as well. Everybody got involved, and all they were doing it around the ring, around the bar area, and that's what got me laughing. I just thought, what the fuck am I watching? And even the commentator couldn't commentate on the match, even though it was what he was supposed to do. He couldn't just commentate on the match. It was like, I don't know, what the fuck am I watching here? And even the crowd shouted, what the fuck is going on? Seriously. But all in all, a good entertainment match. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. And yes, the fun and games were over when Kirby and Travis low-blowed Manson and Grado. Not easy to say. And Kirby pinned Manson to get the win and advance. Hopefully they'll have a serious tag team match in the next round. Interesting to see that. Now, Nathan Cruz went one-on-one with Doug Williams, and Doug Williams wanted revenge because Cruz got involved in Doug's title match last chapter against Rampage Brown. More on Mr. Brown later. Now, obviously Doug was pissed, and he starts off fast and gets, and takes it to Nathan Cruz. This was just a good, solid wrestling match. Just like the first match, except they had a little bit longer than the first match. This was just a good, solid wrestling match. This was meant to be the main event of the first hour, but it wasn't. Mark Haskins was. He made an open challenge. I'll get to that in a second. But this was just a good, solid wrestling match. I don't know why Cruz was trying to wrestle with, trying to match Williams for wrestling, because I could tell you that firsthand. That would never, ever happen, because, well, Doug Williams is one of the best wrestlers in the world, and dare I say, Doug Williams is probably one of the greatest. If he's not the best wrestler in the world, if he's not one of them, he damn sure is one of the best wrestlers in the world. And Cruz trying to match wrestling more holds for him just didn't work for him. Arm trap ace crusher by Cruz was one of my favourite moves, because you had him like in like an arm trapped round Williams' jaw and just dropped him for an ace crusher. I thought that was very innovative, and just a good, solid 4-star wrestling match. 4-star wrestling match, 4 out of 5 wrestling match for me. And Doug got the victory and got his revenge for what Mr. Cruz did the previous chapter, and beat him with his move, the Chaos Theory, which is going to be one of the most devastating moves in not only professional wrestling, dare I say British wrestling, because you'll get rolled through into a German suplex, and that's not good for itself. But all in all, and there was a point in the match where, a couple of points in the match where Cruz's manager got involved, Catherine Rose. But all in all, good solid wrestling match, good solid match, 4-star match, and Doug got his revenge. Cruz, like I said before, he's went down a peg or two in progress since he was their first champion, and Williams made his debut, I believe it was 2 episodes ago, and the only way is up, and he's got a win-loss record of 2-1. at this point, at least, as we're going into chapter 10. So it's only going to progress on from there. But all in all, 4 out of 5, like I say. Now for Mark Haskins' open challenge. He challenged anyone to answer his match, and Progress Wrestling went out and got the best wrestler best wrestler in the world at this point. And some may say he already is the best wrestler in the world. They got Adam Cole to face Mark Haskins, and this was a 5-10 minute match that was bloody awesome. Mark attacks Adam from the start, and they just wrestled. Start to finish, just wrestled. That's all they did. Hard-hitting offense, super kicks that nearly take Mark Haskins' head off from Adam Cole. Great wrestling moves from like a jumping, a leaping reverse neck breaker. You know, just good fundamental wrestling. And Adam wins it with the brainbuster on a knee. He goes for the brainbuster, but puts the head on his knee and gets the victory. And just like I said, just an awesome 5-10 minute wrestling match, and a great way to end the show, at the first half at least. And yeah, I'd give that a 5 out of 5, quite frankly, because I thought it was really, really good. Adam Cole's debut, and at this point he was PWG and ROH World Champion at this point. And Mark Haskins is Mark Haskins. He's a member of the Screw Indie Wrestling group with him and Nathan Cruz and Rampage Brown, and he was only going to progress from here. But Adam Cole at this point was, and many say he is, the best wrestler in the world to this very day. I know a few people would probably vouch for that, a few people that I talked to. And he was the PWG and ROH World Champion, like I said, and it was fucking awesome for a promotion like Progress to get him in and have him wrestle for their match. And I believe he called them and said he wanted to be on their show. You know, Jim Smallman and Co, being the smart people that they are, you never turn anyone like Adam Cole down. You never turn anyone down like Adam Cole. If somebody like an Adam Cole comes up and says, I want to wrestle in your company, you say yes straight away. All in all, 5 out of 5, good solid wrestling match for me. And that about wraps up part 1 of this chapter 10. Hope you've enjoyed it so far. Stay tuned, because I'll be back after this quick timeout with part 2 review, so stay tuned. Be sure to tune in every single Tuesday now for the Wrestling Madness Podcast Extra, where I'll be hosting a podcast on one promotion and one promotion only. ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, the hottest promotion in Scotland. Well, I'll be reviewing their shows. Oh my God! Talking ICW.
That's 13-14!
And who knows, maybe getting some guests on. So be sure to tune in to the Wrestling Madness Podcast Extra ICW podcast, Insane Championship Wrestling, every Tuesday on YouTube, Podomatic, Stitcher Radio, downloaded free at iTunes, Mixcloud, and SoundCloud. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW, and you're gonna know our name.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 2 of the Progress Wrestling Podcast by Wrestling Matters, of course. I am that H, that E to the A to the D, the head Anthony Walker at your service. I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. We're not going to dwell, we're not going to, go into anything or anything like that. We're just going to go straight into it. Part 2 kicked off with the Bhrangra Knights against the London Riots. Now, what was my favourite... The Riots got introduced and everybody turned their back on them. All the crowd turned their backs on them. Nobody looked at them because of what's been going down and everything, and they've been very hated in Progress Wrestling. And the Bhrangra Knights, even though this was supposed to be a tag team title tournament to crown the Progress Wrestling Tag Team Champions, apologies if you heard that, it was a fight. And I don't think these two teams really give the damn, especially the Bhrangra Knights give the damn about the tag team division at some point, or the tag team titles anyway, because they just wanted payback against the Riots for what they've been doing to Progress Wrestling at this point. And these two, this wasn't even a tag match, even though they tried to keep it as a tag match. It was basically a fight, and the Bhrangra Knights were really fired up for this. They took it to the Riots, they took it straight to them. They weren't intimidated, they weren't afraid. They really went at the Riots at this. I mean, one spot in the match, RJ Singh does a senton, gets up and just really dives on James Davis on the outside. So it really, fists flying and everything, really went into a fight. And I'm not going to dwell on this match a little bit more because, to be honest, it ended in a count out, and that's not very good. Yeah, so double count out, and then Jim Smallman, the co-owner, converted with his cohort, and they ended up making a match for Chapter 10, which quite frankly saw the Bhrangra Knights and London Riots go again, this time in a tag team street fight. That's right. So yeah, I'm trying to remember that. Yeah, went into a street fight with the Bhrangra Knights. So that's made for Chapter 11, which I'll be reviewing next week, all being well, of course. Next match was, but Progress Wrestling will progress. Be interesting to see what happens next chapter as well. I'm very much looking forward to that, actually. And as we know it right now, in this storyline angle, whatever you want to call it, the Riots are undefeated as a tag team, and the Bhrangra Knights obviously want payback. So I really am looking forward to that, to Chapter 11, and the sooner I watch it, the better. Now, besides all of that, ladies and gentlemen, the next match was Rampage Brown versus Stixx for the Progress Wrestling title. This was a hard-hitting, physical match. It really was. Two big bastards, because these two are big guys, and they just pounded the living daylights out of each other. Hard-hitting, strength, bit of agility if you're talking about Stixx as well, and these two just went at it for the Progress Wrestling Championship, which is at the moment right now that big stick thing that looks like a Nazi sword or whatever, the gladiators used back in the day. And it was really, really fun, solid wrestling match. Brown, I don't really have any favourite moments in this match, to be fair, because let's face it, Brown and Stixx, I mean, like I said, the whole match was my favourite, because I love to see two big bastards just go at it, and Brown and Stixx did do that indeed. The intriguing part of this is Brown ended up retaining the championship with the power driver. Yeah, and actually I do have one favourite moment of this match. I've just remembered from my notes here that I've got. Stixx took a backdrop on the stage. They fought everywhere. I don't think they fought in the crowd, but they even fought up to the stage area, and Stixx managed to take a backdrop. And I can tell you this right now, there's no protection on them on the stairs, on the staging area. Took a backdrop and almost took out the freaking crowd with it. But all in all, a good, solid championship wrestling match. And I think the commentator correctly said, if this had been any other show, this would have been the main event. But they wanted to exploit the natural progression series and have the finalists go at it in the main event, which was quite rightly so. So, but like I say, if it had been any other chapter, no doubt this would have been the main event. But all in all, Progress Wrestling champion still was Rampage Brown by beating Stixx in the power driver position. I won't give a rating to the previous match. I almost forgot to do that, but I won't give a rating to the previous match because it ended in a count out. I'll give the rating to that at the next show. All in all, this match was a good solid 4 for me because it was a great wrestling match, a great solid match, championship match between two big behemoths. And Rampage may not look intimidating, but I've seen this guy wrestle up close in person. I've actually been around the guy. He's a little intimidating for his size, and he was still the champion. And Stixx has changed a great deal. I mean, when I first started watching these Progress Wrestling, he was a hated guy, and then he just had this change in him, and then boom, now he is who he is and everything. It's, he's a babyface now, and hey, it works for the guy at this point at least. Now for the main event, which was Mark Andrews and Paul Robinson in the Natural Progression Series final. These two went at it for 13 minutes, and it was quick pace, intense wrestling at its best, which is good. You're going to get. You want to see the X Division style TNA? Watch this match. I'm not comparing, but this was probably well better than what TNA could probably produce as far as the X Division. I mean, the X Division was what they're built on, and now basically, even though they try to bring it back, it's not as good as it used to be. But if these two were around in the day back when TNA was built on the X Division, these two would have gone over like a house on fire, just like they did here. And I mean, it was quick-paced stuff, spinning Hurricane Rana off the top rope, from Paul Robinson, Hurricane Rana, quick-paced suicide plungers. Oh man, it was just so good to watch. It wasn't Mark Andrews' best match, but it was an awesome match nonetheless. And Mark ended up winning it with the leg side splash, which is he grabs him on top of the rope, on the top rope, and just does a flip dive over them. Like if he's like belly to belly and suplexing them, but as they're going over, he's going over with them, and it's kind of like the move what Kazarian used to do. Kazarian used to do the move as well. And the Spanish Fly, there you go. Yeah, the tag team used to do it. I forgot what the names were, but it was called the Spanish Fly at one point in TNA, and he did it and he got the victory and became the Natural Progression Series match. That match itself, I would give it a 5 out of 5. But, as always, that wasn't the story. Because that was extra. It was a great match, awesome match, but that wasn't the story. Because the story progressed on from there. Because although he won the trophy, Natural Progression Series trophy, and became the first winner of that tournament, he also won the right to face the champion anytime he chooses, the Rampage bound for the title. And he was also given a surprise one because he was allowed to bring back somebody who was in the tournament to compete in 2014. And although he probably wanted to choose Eddie Dennis, and Eddie Dennis seemed disappointed when he didn't choose him, he made the right call anyway and brought back Will Ospreay. That's right, brought him back, and he was competing, and all was good, all was fun. Then Eddie Dennis and then Mark was given a chance what he wanted to do. He called out Rampage Brown and wanted his title shot right there, right now. So, despite the fact that Brown had about 20 minutes to recuperate after his match with Stixx, and Mark Andrews just finished having an epic match with Paul Robinson, basically in this 2-minute match that they had for the Progress Wrestling title, it was all Rampage Brown, dominant, showing why he was the champion. However, he made one mistake. He hit a powerbomb, sit-out powerbomb on Mark Andrews, couldn't keep him down, covered him, and then he got pissed off at the ref. Got in the ref's face, started pushing the ref, manhandling him, or at least trying to. Ref pushed him back, Mark Andrews rolls him up, gets the victory, becomes the Progress Wrestling title, champion rather, and pissed off Brown because Brown chased him. It took security to keep him back. Hey, he capitalized, and it was a great way to win the show. And I wouldn't give that 5 out of 5, but I'll give what happened next 5 out of 5, because just when you thought the show ended, no, it didn't, because what was a great moment by Mark Andrews and Eddie Dennis kind of turned sour if you're thinking of their perspective, because when everybody was celebrating, even Mark Andrews and Eddie Dennis were on top turnbuckles, separate sides, Havoc and the Riots showed up, and all hell broke loose. That's right. But this was the fun part for me, at least. Because I'll explain this in the best way that I can. Riots come out, attack Eddie Dennis and Mark Andrews, grab hold of Eddie Dennis, kick him, beat him up on the outside, and then tie him with tape to the ring post, which made way for Jimmy Havoc to come in, take his jacket off, and literally beat the crap out of Mark Andrews with a steel chair, and completely whacked it. And also, the Riots made Eddie Dennis watch this as he was doing it. I was on the outside, and even Havoc proceeded to rub it in his face. And then Havoc got into it with Jim Smallman. And if you saw what happened, like I say, going back to what happened in Chapter 9, this all goes back to what happened in Chapter 9. But apparently, while that was taking place, Havoc had a piece of white paper, in his back pocket, like a contract, and turned out to be a contract, which allowed him to have a match anytime he chooses with anybody he wants. Hence the situation, because he wanted a match with Mark Andrews right then for the Progress Wrestling title. Jim Smallman wouldn't give him it. He told him to fuck off, basically, and called him a cunt and shit like that, and said, I'm not going anywhere near you, you psycho, blah 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 blah. Havoc wanted to said, is that where you're going to do it? Okay, fine. Proceeds to beat the crap out of him again with the chair, and then goes into his what I call it. By the way, Smallman said you could take him to court, to Havoc, but he wasn't going to play it like that. After he beat the crap out of him with the chair, Andrews that is, Havoc went into his jacket and picked out some bottle thing and poured it on Mark Andrews. Now, my guessing, being the sick bastard that Havoc's turned into, that was gasoline, and he was looking to burn him, because Smallman saw that and shit himself and had no choice but to give him the match for the Progress Wrestling title right there and then. Otherwise, he would have probably burnt Mark Andrews right there and then. So they got him in the ring, and Smallman and Havoc had one stipulation. That was to bring Smallman in to have him count the fall and make him the champion. Smallman wouldn't do it. He said there was always a referee there, and he said he wouldn't go near the psycho. Havoc had other ideas. Havoc DVD'd the referee, took him out. So Smallman basically had no choice. And Havoc got Andrews up, got him in his finishing move, which is like he gets him in the Alabama example position, sticks his head between his legs, and then drives him down, like an innovative power driver kind of move. Smallman comes in, counts to 1, 2, but Andrews kicks out. Havoc wasn't very pleased. With the security surrounding Smallman, he looked in Smallman's face. And then as Andrews is making trying to get back up, Havoc throws the chains in Andrews' face, picks him up, does the move again. This time, Smallman has no choice but to count to 3, and Jimmy Havoc becomes the Progress Wrestling champion, right there and then. Smallman's out the ring, pissed off, throwing things about, angry as hell. Havoc says, "You're not going anywhere until you present him with a stick." Told you to present me with a stick. Throws the stick in the ring. End of. Right there, right then, Jimmy Havoc, the heel, evil turned Jimmy Havoc, right there and then, became the Progress Wrestling champion. With a little help from the Riots, of course. And I don't know about you, but that was fucking epic. It was. It was epically so beautifully done. I don't think even WWE could have come up with something like that. But it was so well done that led into what was somewhat a storyline. 600 and odd days of Havoc being Progress Wrestling champion. And it was just so brilliantly done. Horrible way if you hate Havoc or you're Babyface or whatever. Horrible way to end Progress Wrestling, but to be honest with you, that was fun to watch for me. I really enjoyed that. And as the whole show itself, I will give it a 5 out of 5 because it had a mixture of everything, and it was just a great show. And culminated, whether you want to see it good or bad, at the end of the day with Havoc, Jimmy Havoc and London Riots raising hell, and Havoc becoming an impromptu Progress Wrestling champion. But that was last for over 600 days. If you watch the Progress Wrestling, you already know that. But all in all, the show itself, 5 out of 5. Loved it. And I love Jimmy Havoc's work as a heel, and now I know why Steve Dawson says what he's been saying all this time about Jimmy Havoc being an epic heel, because he is. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this Progress Wrestling podcast. Thank you so much for watching, or listening rather. I hope you've enjoyed it. Tune in next time. Tune into the upcoming Wrestling Matters podcast as well. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, keep showing your support to the podcast. It is greatly appreciated. And I'm Anthony Walker. Until next time, peace out.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Professional wrestling, this is it. This is us standing up.
Yes, 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 yes!
That's 13-14! Make it till death!
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold Simpson.